Day Dawns ARKS. Welcome everyone to your weekly Phantasy Star Online 2 podcast, recorded live on August 23rd, 2020. I am one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me is Zance. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello, hello. How's it going, everyone?
Really, nothing unusual this week in terms of what you're going to say.
Nope, nothing unusual. I'm just tired. I couldn't think of anything, so...
Gotcha.
Hello.
Alright. Anyway, we got a pretty packed show this week here, between going through the celebration for 1 million accounts created for the for the English version at this point, I guess what we really should be calling it. Plus, we got all the site updates, we got the Game Masters finally striking back against RMTers, New Genesis getting a rating change, as well as continuing on with the PSO Developer Interview series that Polygon's been putting out. But before we get into that, why don't we go into what we've been doing in our Game Wing weeks, and I'll kick us off by saying I have had no time to do anything else but PSO2 this week.
Any Final Fantasy 14?
You know what? I did log in for like 5 minutes to, I think, refresh the timer on my house, but that was about it.
Yeah, for me, I still play Final Fantasy 14 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday raids.
Gotcha.
We're still trying to broaden Uwu.
That being ultimate weapon refrain?
Yeah, Ultimate Weapon Ultimate. We're still on Titan. We still need to get past him.
Gotcha.
We want to see Laha Bread.
Yep, but of course you gotta figure out how to make everybody woke first.
Oh, we already figured that out. It's just keeping everyone alive.
Gotcha. Alright. So with that, then, why don't we go...
but yeah, you've been mostly just playing PSO2.
Correct.
Yeah, because bonus keys, oh boy.
Yeah. I have so many alts that I basically, if I do my dailies on all my alts, each day I'm gonna get myself 12 silver keys, and then for 3 times doing that in the week, I get 12 gold keys, and a total of 36 silver keys. Those silver keys I can then convert into gold keys at a rate of 1 to 5. Or 5 to 1, rather. Yep. And with the go ahead.
Oh wait, no, keep going.
With the level 90 cap that's going to be coming in episode 5, I'm just going to be stockpiling silver keys for the time being.
Pretty smart. Make sure you put them in a character's like one character's character storage so that you don't completely fill up your shared storages.
Oh yeah, I've got enough alts, plus with all the dismantling I've done since the release of Episode 4, I got plenty of space now.
Awesome. And for me this week, it's not... I really haven't been playing that many games. Well, that's a lie. I've been playing a lot, but mostly I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things with college. And I'm hating it, but... I'll leave my personal college life out of this. But other than that, I play more on Final Fantasy 11 on the Eden private server, and 14 we're still doing Ultimate Weapon Ultimate. And then with PSO2, I just do my dailies. Do you think level 100 cap's coming to PSO2 JP? I don't know. I don't think so, especially with New Genesis coming out. They might raise it to 100. Just before it comes out. What do you think?
Yeah, it's either gonna be like right before it comes out, or they might do it with Luster and just not announce it.
Possibly. But yeah, it's just been a pretty average week for me.
Gotcha.
I ended up playing Final Fantasy 11 for 8 hours yesterday.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I got into a leveling party and that went really well, and then I was just trying to find other things to do, and then I found someone else that needed to do the Summoner Artifact quest, so I just joined them for that.
Gotcha. I mean, I've done 8-hour sessions before myself, even just streaming. It takes a lot out of you, and I do at least try to space myself properly for, like, breaks and things like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But benefit of 11 is that it's a very not too intensive game, so I could easily just play that while also playing RuneScape on my other monitor.
Gotcha.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for this week.
All right. Well, then why don't we go ahead and move into this week's topics. And that's going to start off with the celebration for there being 1 million subscribers, or rather 1 million accounts created.
Woo!
For the game. So, yeah, that's pretty big news, all things considered. Especially because the Q1 information for Sega's investors came out, and PSO2, the North American version that they're calling it, is actually performing better than the Japanese version in terms of the money that's being earned.
And that's insane.
Yeah, it's like 3 times as much. That they can't ignore that. That's sort of like, yeah, they have to tell their investors that happened. They can't hide that.
Yep. And that's big money for Sega.
Yep.
And good news for all of us. How many of those are RMT bots? Oh yeah. We'll be talking about that.
Yep, we'll get to that soon enough here.
Yeah.
I wonder how much Sega is kicking themselves right now for not releasing in North America sooner.
Well, to be fair, Sega of Japan back then is far different to Sega Japan now, so.
True.
Because Sega of Japan back in late 2000s, early 2010s, was not really good if you looked at how they treated PSU.
Yeah, that is true. At least when it came to the Western version. The Japanese version, at least, did continue on for some time until I think it was like about a year into the life of PSO2 when that server, as well as the PSO BB servers, were finally taken down.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah,
let's think of Japan's now actually seeing. Oh, hey, people actually like Phantasy Star.
Yep. It's finally getting to the point where it's getting the worldwide recognition that it honestly deserves after all this time, being step in step with Final Fantasy for so long at this point. And I think I've told you this before. Phantasy Star, the original Phantasy Star, was released only 2 days after Final Fantasy came out in Japan.
Yep.
So it's part of that.
Technically, and Phantasy Star was technically better than Final Fantasy. It had a lot less bugs, and it was technically more impressive.
I'll agree with you there. One of the things that I remember, in one of the developer interviews I read was about how Yuji Naka basically freed up some space on the cartridge, and they added that picture at the end before the credits roll. I think I mentioned that last week, actually.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, it's nice that the game is finally that the series is getting the worldwide recognition that it deserves. A lot of these accounts have come from Steam, of course.
Yep.
But yeah, let's kind of read through this here. The Profound Darkness was nullified, and ARKS HQ has a lot of operatives to thank. Quite a lot, actually, given that over 1 million ARKS helped to obtain the Episode 3 goal of Fleet Oracle. These domestic and international ARKS came together to fight the Fall Spawn as one, and for that, as well as their other valiant feats, a reward is due. Between August 19th and August 26th, all quests will provide operatives with boosts to their experience earned plus 100%, and rare drop rate 100%, as well as exhibit an increase in rare enemy spawn rate 100%. Additionally, during this period, each day operatives will be rewarded with EXP 100,000 tickets, 2 of them each day, just for logging in. Logging in a certain number of days and receive 6 of these same EXP tickets, providing a maximum of 2 million experience.
Yeah,
But
that's pretty good.
yep. I wish they would release the 1 million tickets in this version, to be honest. I think it's time for them to start doing that. But all this isn't enough to reward our Resolute ARKs for their determination and loyalty. So ARKS HQ will be holding a raffle consisting of those who log in more than 5 days during this period. Those who are entered could win an AC 10,000 ticket, or a Star Gem 1,000 ticket, or 10 AC Scratch tickets. Remember to be active in Oracle Fleet so you don't miss your chance to gain some levels, maybe a few upgrades, and potentially some AC, SG, or AC Scratch tickets. So, coming down here for boosted ARKs, we can see, once again, here are the rates that are boosted during this period.
And it's for every single mission.
Correct. Then we have dedicated ARKs here, so logging in between the period here, you're going to get 2 100,000 tickets a day, and if you log in for at least 5 separate days, then you'll get an additional 6 100,000 tickets. And then in terms of the number of winners for the raffle, it's going to be 100 winners per category. So 100 winners for the AC 10,000 ticket, 100 winners for the Star Gem 1,000 ticket, and 100 winners for the AC Scratch tickets.
Obviously, the 10,000 AC is the biggest one.
Oh yeah, that's enough that you could get yourself premium for, I think I would want to say
half a year. Like,
yeah.
Not even half a year. 9 months of premium.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I think so. Let me check here real quick. AC show. So premium set is 3,900 AC. So yeah, 90 months. Or
90 months?
9 months of premium. Not
there you go.
Months. Stupid. Yeah, 9 months of premium through those ACs tickets. That's insane.
Yep. Usually rewards like that are given out, at least on the Japanese side, to players that were in the PvP battle competitions. But this is a nice thing to see, that they're giving appreciation to their player base. I'm just hoping that some of those tickets do go to some of the more dedicated players than players that might only be at like level 20, but that's just me.
Wouldn't it be insane if one of us got one of those rewards?
Oh yeah, definitely. And to be absolutely clear, I have no contract with Sega at all, and Zance, as far as I'm aware, you don't have one either.
Nope.
Yeah, so
I just like this game. That's it.
Yeah, we are completely independent from Sega. I'm not saying that we wouldn't take them up on an offer. It's just they haven't said anything to us about doing anything.
Up.
All right, let's move on to our next topic for today here, and that being what's new this week. So, we got quite a number of new releases this week here. Story chapters 5 to 7 were released. We have a new enemy, the Phantasm Battleship Yamato. This next one technically doesn't start until next week. The new enemy, Eska Fall's Mother.
Yeah, that's for next week with all the that emergency quest or urgent quest will start up then.
Yep. We have the new live concert, the ARKS Dance Festival.
Yes.
Rare drop, Koi Koi.
It's all in English.
Yep. I told you. I knew. I knew Takanobu was going to be reprising his role.
Yep. At least they aren't calling her Mother Brain. Yeah, that is true.
I don't know about that. I have the voice clip where they do say Mother Brain.
Oh, they do? Oh,
yeah.
Boy. Fun.
Yeah, so we'll see if they actually use that or not. But that was the line I was originally going to have in the trailer, but then I thought, you know what? Let me back it up and just put it to where the Mother Cluster, or rather the Mother Core, were doing. We're going to be invading the Ark ship, but because I kind of wanted to keep that secret of who is Mother in all this during that trailer.
But also, Takanobu reprising, singing that. I like, oh my god.
That, and given what's going on currently, that was really brave of the man to do that. So,
well, he probably recorded lines pretty far ahead of time.
True. That is true. Once we were able to start diving into the data, well, actually, no, that wasn't in when I got the original release. That didn't come out until 2 or 3 weeks ago in the data.
Interesting.
So that has to have been recent, and if anything, I would suspect that was recorded at the same time that he recorded for the true ending song of episode 6. But anyway, moving on here. We also have a new AC Scratch ticket, Earth Defenders, and a new Fun Scratch ticket for August 2020 Part 2. And we've got several in-game campaigns going on. We have Complete Client Orders, Get ARKS Handbook Title, celebrating the 1 million ARKS, which we just talked about a moment ago. And we also had a Quest Trigger distribution, which, let's be honest, that's a little bit unnecessary, given if you've gone through the story, particularly the sub-story stuff, you would have already gotten yourself a Yamato trigger.
Yep.
Then we got...
the Urgent Quest is available for the Yamato, so... Which I did get 2 13 stars so far from it. A rifle and a twin machine gun. I don't play Gunner or Ranger. I think the game's trying to tell me something.
Gotcha. I haven't had any luck yet myself. Let's see. Then we had the new Urgent Quests schedule, including those 2 new Urgent Quests, Dignity of Steel Unleashed and the Lunar Phantasm Matriarch. We got a couple of new titles, Valve Collector 1 and Valve Collector 2, so once again, Steam rewards for you.
Yep. If you weren't able to actually get the Steam rewards, which I did get them, now I have duplicates. Oh, fun.
Yep, so we can install those across our entire account now.
Yeah, but they were already able to do across the entire account. Because you were given 2 of them. But
maybe they can be sold on the shop then?
Some people weren't able to get those rewards, so they redid this, but now for people who were able to get the rewards, now they have 2 more of those things. So I have 2 of the Pyro Mask, for example.
Gotcha.
But I didn't get any of the weapon camos, so I got the weapon camos for the first time. And Wheatley for the main device.
Yep. Alright, and aside from that, 35 more locations have been added to support the Steam version. And then, as we mentioned last week, there was the issue with the Lilliparium All Max. They have now fixed that. Additional items will be distributed to the affected users, and users have to receive those by August 20th. So, August 20th next year to receive those. They also renamed Swap Skill Tree to Move Skill Tree, which is actually more in line with what that actually does. It moves between the different classes if you have more than a single class tree. They revised the issue where the item name was not displayed for the following items: S-Craft EX Builder, S-Craft Tech Builder, S-Time Builder, S-Craft Art Builder, S-Craft EX Maker, S-Craft Tech Maker, S-Craft Time Maker, and S-Craft Art Maker. And they've also updated the Summer Bingo objective from Clear Story Quest Episode 4, When I Opened My Eyes, to Clear Story Quest Episode 4, The Awakening. So some players, well actually nobody was able to clear that because the story was being released in pieces, which to me, it tells me that that bingo card was created before the decision to break things up like that was done.
Makes sense.
So that's basically the list of the new stuff. Let's kind of move into each individual piece here now. So, we got the new Urgent Quest schedule here. And as we can see, it has been packed this week with just a ton of stuff here. Let's see. Most recently, we're kind of in a period right now where there isn't anything happening today, but pretty soon we're going to be moving into... Oh, when is this? This is going to be in about...
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
Sunday is, Luther. There will be ARKS Dance Festival coming up.
Yep, that's going to be happening in about an hour and 20 minutes, it looks like.
And if you attend at least one of them, then... Oh, wait, no, that's not the Dance Festival. It's like Rivers in the Desert.
Well, you do get an emote for attending the ARKS Dance Festival, actually.
You get an email for that, and if you attend both the P3D and P5D ones, you get Morgana suit.
Yep.
So you just need to find someone wearing the Joker outfit and just constantly tell them that they're looking cool. And then also tell them to go to sleep. Anyway, so yeah, looks like Luther's coming up today. And then for next week, they're still continuing on with Beach Wars into next week as well.
Yep. And plus we have the Lunar Phantasm Matriarch here as well, in the light blue color. That's going to be happening starting on Wednesday, it looks like.
That's Mother, right?
Yes, it is. That is Mother.
Yep, and they're still doing the Persona concerts as well, so that's good. Give people plenty of time to get the Morgana suit.
Yep, because once those concerts are gone, they're likely gone for good.
Yep. They probably will do another Persona thing later, but probably not. I don't know.
Yep.
I already have my Jack Frost and Teddy suit, so I'm happy.
Let's see. I don't think there was any new information in this section this week. Yeah, no, nothing new there. For that, we need to look over here. So, Urgent Quest, Dignity of Steel Unleashed. So, this is based, of course, on the opening for Episode 4 that takes place on Earth. So, duration of this is 50 minutes. The enemy has outdone themselves this time, unleashing a massive phantasm in the Japanese coastal waters of planet Earth. The behemoth has begun assaulting urban areas, and the breadth of the destruction will be unimaginable if it is not stopped. ARKS operatives are to form cohesive units and attack the phantasm as one, or else we risk failure. Please proceed with all due haste to the quest counter as your strength is needed. And then looking at the rewards, we're gonna get all the it's pretty much based on the Yamato itself there. So, but the DAIS series is also part of this here. So you get the DAIS sword, the assault rifle, and the launcher.
And from that Urgent Quest, I have actually gotten, like I said, I got 2 of the 13 stars. Twin machine gun and assault rifle. I would much prefer getting a Jet Boots or a Dual Blades game. It's what I play.
Well, hopefully your luck will turn around. Although, keep in mind, the current Nemesis and Slave series is still stronger than what's coming out of this.
Oh yeah, that is true.
But something that is coming that's kind of useful is the Yamato Factor Augment. So this is kind of an all-rounder for you, if you're looking to just build up something that's more rounded than other builds. Granted, you got a little bit more ranged in there than you do melee and tech, but this will still also give you 20 HP and a single photon point as well. And then eventually this will be combined with the mother factor as well, along with one other factor, which will essentially create a... I'm not sure what they're going to call it in this version, but it's basically a factor that combines all those factors together and gives you a really powerful augment.
It's perfect for people who do a lot of augmenting on their units.
Yep.
And yeah, once you get your best, once you have the units that you're really satisfied with, then you want to get all those factors on there.
Moving on, let's also take a look at the other urgent quest that's coming next week here. And yeah, at this point, if you haven't started into the story, this is pretty much approaching spoiler territory here for you, but what can we say? The urgent quest... Go ahead.
You've been warned.
Yeah. Really, the urgent quests are always going to follow the story in terms of the big bosses that show up in there, so that's kind of par for the course at this point here. Okay, so apparently Mother has healed herself up in a moon base previously unknown to Earthguide and is conducting construction of a bridge to Earth. Her materials strangely appear to be Escafal spawn, though they unfortunately seem to be sufficient for her plan. Operatives will need to interrupt this process however they can, and Ridroids will be provided in case pursuit is required.
So yeah, the way that this urgent quest works is that you start with Ridroids, chase the Mother, and then afterwards you then have the actual fight.
Yep, and when you're on the Ridroids, all you gotta do is just spin to win. Trust me, you'll get it when you see what this urgent quest looks like. Alright, so, a deluge of aether has spilled near the moon, and our sources report that a powerful entity is attempting to use the ether to manifest a way to reach planet Earth. For the safety of our ARKS operatives, Ridroids will be distributed to facilitate pursuit of the fast-moving phantasms across the lunar surface. You may be required to pilot your Ridroid through narrow and potentially dangerous spaces, so take care in your preparations. By the way, if you have not changed your Ridroid settings from automatic to manual, go ahead and do that now. You're going to need it.
You need to have better control of your Ridroid during this.
Yep. And as for the rewards, we finally have the Astra series in the game.
Nice.
Granted, once again, still weaker than what you're going to get from the Slaven Nemesis series. But at the same time, there are also going to be some 14 stars potentially dropping as well here. We'll have to see, but I believe one of them is the Spread Needle.
Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's for Rangers, and if you don't know what the Spread Needle is like, imagine never having to use a photon art ever again.
Yep.
That's how powerful the thing is. It's because what it does is it shoots out 5 needles when you do a single shot.
Yeah, it's labeled as a launcher if I remember correctly, right?
No, it's a rifle.
Oh, it's a rifle. Oh. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think there might be some 12-star units with this, but I'm not 100% certain on that. If anything, I would expect maybe there would be a booster in there potentially, but given that I don't see anything on Zig for upgrading units yet, that might not actually happen. Let's see, moving on here. We also have the new concert, ARKS Dance Festival. So, concerts are always fun, but don't you wish you could join your favorite performers on stage and be part of the show? With this new... Yes, indeed. With this new concert, ARKS Dance Festival, you can. Join the singers and your fellow operatives on the tiered platform, take your place, and follow along in an ARKS chorus line. Not only that, but you're given the chance to spice up the performance by keeping the beat with the lighted indicator, and if successful, launching pyrotechnics or triggering special lighting. The stage has room for a whole host of operatives, so just imagine the fantastical display if everyone participates in the show. By the way, if you don't participate and you're up on that stage, at certain points you're going to fall over just exhausted.
Yep, it's funny.
ARKS HQ also has an educational purpose for offering this dance festival, as dancing is another way to hone agility, coordination, and stamina. And of course, in true ARKS HQ fashion, you'll be rewarded for participating in this training with a concert effect. This 2-hour effect happens to make operatives luckier in finding rare item drops and Meseta, in addition to enhancing their learning capabilities. It's the perfect precursor to participating in an urgent quest, and one usually follows these performances. And so here is the schedule for this week. So, yeah, we've got one coming up, as we mentioned a couple of moments ago, in about an hour and 10 minutes now, and then we got 2 tomorrow.
Alrighty. And those, and like I said, after you go to that concert, go over to the title counter, and you'll get a ticket, which will give you the ARKS dance emotes. Evidence that photons can augment luck.
Yeah, I'll agree on that one. Alright. Moving on, we have our new AC scratch ticket, the Earth Defenders. So,
one save.
Let's take a look at this. So, we've got Hitsuki's outfit here first. And then there is Enga in his, looks like his school outfit.
Yeah, there's a lot of the school outfits in here.
Yep. And then there is Phaleg, which is interesting, calling her an Earth Defender.
Oh yeah, 86, feeling down. We'll probably get to that here.
And there is Hagi and his outfit. Spread Wings accessory. Of course, we have a new dance emote.
Dance 11.
And the fire dance.
Pretty cool. I love the female one. PR pose.
So that's it for that.
Oh, it's not showing the other emote in there, which is feeling down.
Well, we'll probably see it below here. But yeah, once again, we have the different outerwears, plus the base wears, and the innerwears. And as for the cast, this guy's a replica of the one that you can find over in Franca's cafe.
Yes, all races can wear that.
Yep.
So
if you ever wanted
to cast now.
So if anybody ever wanted to have a microwave on the back of their back, there you go.
Yep.
And then you got the front.
One of my favorite outfits from that scratch there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks a little bit different in Nova, but yeah, there's a character that's very similar to that in over in Nova. Phantasy Star Nova, which was a PlayStation Vita release only.
And only in Japan, because Sega hates us.
Yep. We got the Yod the Virgo weapon camo. You got, once again, your usual assortment of new hairstyles, new makeups and eyes, some body paint. You can get yourself a chef hat as well. So if you ever wanted to make yourself look like Franca, this is pretty much everything you need here.
Yep. All of Franca's stuff is right there.
Yep.
Great.
Some glasses, ribbons, and ties. Well, actually, just one tie, it looks like. Earrings, and yeah, just a lot of accessories this week.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then, yeah, like you said, the feeling down emote.
Yeah, I don't know why the video didn't show that emote.
Not sure either. As for what you're going to get if you go through multiple scratches, at 2 you're going to get the illustration eyelashes C set. At 5 you'll get the Phaleg makeup set. At 10 you'll get yourself a bonus key Tokyo Silver. 15 Dignified greeting emote.
How is it infamous? Is it because of the female version of Feeling Down?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Yeah, because the female is on her knees, crouched down.
Yeah, so that is kind of interesting that they didn't include it in the video. And then looks like at 20 you get a content face set.
Yep. And there are bonus keys that you get through this now.
Yep.
So if you do the scratch 40 times, you'll get a bonus key gold, which, yeah, just play the game to get that gold.
Yeah, and so the content face, that's Phaleg.
Nice.
Alright, aside from new AC scratch, we also have a fun scratch.
Yay!
Say it again, you got cut off there a little bit.
Okay, fun!
There you go. Alrighty, so, M-Bangs, Pigtails, yeah, just another assortment. Oh, hey, you can be sucking on popsicles this week.
Nice.
Looks like we also got an assortment of scarves. Here's another chef hat. And then you got the flank boosters, several stickers, and then a lot of this looks like repeats here from last time.
And the emote of this week is...
Shock.
Alright. You want that circlet? I got that circlet. Actually, what I always do when it comes to new fun scratches, I just get a bunch of fun tickets through X Cubes, because I have so many X Cubes. And then I just spam it until I get all the emotes, or like all the accessories and emotes.
Yep. It looks like we've also changed themes to the retro series here. And then the other thing I'll note is the floor fan. If this is the one I'm thinking about, try it twice.
The floor fan?
Yeah. Just try it twice. You'll see what happens on the second time.
Oh, fun.
Alright. And let's move on now to the campaigns that are going on. So there's a campaign to complete client orders. So, for this one, you want to complete EO's client order Party Maneuvers number 1 between the 19th and the 1st to collect a gold Tokyo bonus key. And you want to complete Party Maneuvers number 2 between the same date range, and you'll receive the Divine Blade Crostriz. So that is this one here.
Nice looking sword.
It looks like something out of Dragon Quest, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it kind of does. Which reminds me, I haven't played Dragon Quest X in a while. I should probably do that.
Probably a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm kind of paying for the sub.
And then we have another campaign here, the Get the ARKS Handbook title. Basically, to get the title, you just simply speak with the ARKS Handbook guide, Leontina, and open the ARKS Handbook, and that's it.
Yep.
And for doing that, you get yourself a 20 Star Gem ticket.
It's for if you did it during that time, or if you already have it. Like, I already have it. So
Correct.
yeah, I'm going to get those free Star Gems. Easy.
And then we have a quest trigger distribution that happened this week here. So that gave you access to a usage of Dignity of Steel whenever you want to use it. You just need to have a character... Go ahead.
I still haven't used mine.
Same here.
Yeah, we really should set up a an Alliance MPA.
That's probably a good idea, yeah. Yeah, as long as you had a character created before the 18th, or rather before the maintenance on the 18th, then you would have gotten a free trigger here.
Mhm.
Now the question is there going to be one for next week as well? I don't think there was anything mentioned here, but we'll see with this week's updates coming. And then we also have a casino boost happening between the 23rd and the 31st.
Pretty standard casino boost.
Yep, so a lot of boosts going on today. We've rolled through most of these at this point, but we still have, looks like a Masetan shooter, PSC. Actually, right now, active is a Arkham slot one.
Yep.
And then, coming up after the Masetan shooter, you've got a Little Roulette Chance, a Rappy slot up, and a Blackniac Pursuit bonus.
And then the following week, it's all spread out. It's the standard boost thing that they do.
Yep. All right. And then, also, yesterday was PSO2 Premium Appreciation Day.
Yeah, and they did it for 2 days instead of just one, which I found pretty interesting.
Yep. So, if anything, I would say they did that in order to help out the users that are global throughout the world and really couldn't participate in the normal time. But potentially, we might see that for PSO2 Day coming up on the 2nd as well.
Which will be nice.
Yep. To have that extended a little bit longer now.
Yep, and that will be next Wednesday.
Yep.
Not this coming Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Correct. Obviously, if you're premium, then you got yourself a 22-star gem ticket, or rather 2 of those. You also got the a gold Tokyo bonus key, and you had your typical boosts happen there as well. Doing that while everything else was active for the 1 million account made it so that by having 20 gold keys this week to use, I was able to get 4 classes leveled up to level 80.
Yeah, currently I only have my bouncer up to 80 because I've been lazy.
Gotcha. Yeah, so obviously if you didn't get a chance to take advantage of it, at least there is still the 100% experience boost going on. So make sure you're not holding on to those keys. Go ahead and use them while these kind of events are happening, especially if you're able to stack them.
The silver keys you can let expire and then change into gold keys, except for the Magatsu ones. Always use the Magatsu ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got... What do I have now? I've got Hunter, Summoner, Fighter, Force, and Techer, and Gunner leveled up to 80.
Well, I have Hunter at 77. That's close enough.
Gotcha. Keep working at it. I mean, you gotta get yourself ready for episode 5, which is not gonna be that far off at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because that's then a level 90 cap.
Yep. I have Tector at 76. So,
and where's your bouncer at this point?
Up. Same with all the other classes, which is just all over the board.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on. Oh, that's right, and of course, there's still the chance of getting the Rappy Suit mini arcs as well.
Yep. And that's every Premium Day and PSO2 Day.
Yep. All right, let's move into sort of the really big news here. The band Hammer Cometh. So, between the 14... Go ahead.
Real quick, Brooks. I think they'll do what they do on JP right now, which is just 2 classes to 75.
Yeah, I would agree on that. It'd be unusual for them to hold that over for 3 classes.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so between the 14th and the 20th of August, there were 586 cases reported, and so far there have been a total of 2,739 cases. Basically, this is people being reported for RMT, so accounts that have taken part in RMT activities such as the use of fraudulent tools, real money trading companies, and or purchase of Meseta from RMT companies, transfer of accounts, lending, borrowing, acting of in-game nuisance, etc. are included in this number. Accounts that have violated the terms of use in other ways are also included in this number. So, what is RMT, real money trading? Real money trading, or RMT, is defined as any act that includes buying and or selling game data, such as Meseta, with cash from an external site that has no relation with Sega. Sega and or the PSO2 Live Ops team are not involved in these transactions. Buying and selling in-game data through RMT is also strictly prohibited within the terms of use, the acceptance of which is required in order to play PSO2.
So, yeah, don't cheat. Because RMT basically is that. It's cheating.
Yep, don't try to buy your way. You're just going to lose your account.
Yeah. Every MMO has its problem of RMTers. Like anytime, like in Final Fantasy 14, if you're just in Limsa Laminsa, you'll find those RMT bots just spamming. Go to this website, buy a Gil, and that's the same thing in here. You go into the lobbies and you'll find those bots just constantly spamming. Go to this website, buy Meseta, 10 million Meseta. Most, yeah, like it said there, most of the Meseta that a lot of these bots are getting is either because they're bot farming, so they're farming Meseta just through bots, or they've been gotten through illegitimate means by stealing from other players.
Yep, and they also do make mention of this potentially is involved with criminal activity through the purchase of Meseta from these RMT sites, such as cases where Meseta was stolen from another player through unauthorized access to their account. And due to this, they strongly warn players not to get involved with RMT.
Yep. Yeah, the fact that PSO2 breaks is being a million times worse. Yes, that is true. Because when it comes to Final Fantasy 11, while it does have a free trial, you can't use the round chat unless you actually paid for the subscription or bought the game. Which the bots in Final Fantasy 14, they're buying the game and then spamming in chat. Well, but that.
Yep. Let's see. They also say PSO2 is only available to the person who initially created the account. Never loan or transfer your account even to a close friend, let alone a third party. If any of these actions are confirmed to have occurred with your account will be subject to permanent suspension for violation of the terms of use. Please be careful.
Yes, because that actually, I remember playing on JP, and there was a service like that. It was like constant online and do your dailies. Like, why? Just do them yourself.
Not to mention also the players using a service like that to get into the expert queue.
And that's also a way that some people have stolen other people's accounts, usually by just completely draining all of their resources.
Yep. And then lastly, they say here, if it is determined that you have maliciously repeated nuisance behavior, such as intentionally hindering the progress of another player, or repeatedly and intentionally not participating during fights, you are in violation of the terms of use and will be subject to the permanent suspension of your account. So, you can't just be waiting around and letting other people fight in urgent quests. You have to fight as well, or else you're going to be subject to being suspended.
Yeah, just play the game.
Yep.
Like, I understand if you have to go AFK suddenly, but yeah, it said repeated offense of doing that.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, Madara. Yeah, it's there still needs to be more stuff done here, aside from just banning the accounts, because a new account can just be easily created. I would say we need a combination of regional IP blocking as well as MAC ID blocking as well.
Make it to where a round check can't be used until level 20.
Level 20 is a little bit easy to do just because you can get that just by going through a couple of client orders, though.
But yeah, IP and MAC ban, that actually could work. Especially for bots, like most of the bot accounts are being done by one IP.
Yeah,
However, be careful because there are some IPs that are being used by multiple people and they did nothing wrong. Like,
and that's why you want the MAC address part of that as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe the Japanese version did ban China IP addresses, and that did help with some of their issues. So that may be something that the live ops team needs to consider doing in order to actually get this situation under control, since that's where the large majority of them are coming from. Although earlier this week I did also get confirmation that one of the Messenger sellers is actually located in the UK.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were trying to set up a sponsorship with me, and I just I reported them to Sega for that one.
Okay, that's actually pretty funny.
Yep. Yeah, no, if I'm doing a sponsorship, it's gonna be with Sega or no one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to hinder the actual player base too much in order to stop the bots.
Yep. Alright, so that pretty much does it for the site updates. Moving into our next topic, some of you may have noticed that the official PSO2 YouTube channel re-uploaded the trailers for New Genesis earlier this week.
And the follow-up video.
Yep.
Where they have the fingers.
Yep. And the reason they did that is it got a rating change from teen to mature.
Yep, it went back to mature again.
They still didn't put in that scene with the characters in their underwear, though. You can see that one on the Japanese side.
I still don't know why.
It really doesn't make sense. No, I completely agree with you.
Like, they're now in a mature rating, so they really don't need to censor anything.
Yep. And it's
I
not...
remember actually a GM did respond back. Like, they did a lot to make sure to try to keep that teen rating. But obviously, it proved to be fruitful. Now it has that M rating, so now we can stop all that censorship, right? Right?
I don't know. As I was saying before, some of those episode 4 scenes, particularly where Hitsugi is talking inside her mind, she was originally naked in that, and they put clothes on her.
Yeah.
And considering
they took out, i.e. the bath scene, that's fully dubbed.
They did take that out, but the Hitsugi scene is one that you really can't avoid. That's got some really important stuff about what she's feeling in the moment.
True. Keep the Moral Guardians quiet. Oh, it still hasn't stopped the Moral Guardians. If you saw the forums post.
Yeah, forum posts, you're gonna find them all over, and at this point, all I can say is, you know what, I'm glad they did do that to that scene, because regardless, she at that age is underage, and that becomes child porn at that point. And that's a very illegal thing. The last thing I would want to have happen is people from Sega to get arrested over it.
But it's fictional, so it's fine. That's the thing. Like, since it is fictional, it doesn't count in U.S. law.
It kind of does, I think. I think that was a law that was changed like 10 or 15 years ago.
I don't think so, because it's just a drawing.
It's a gray area. Okay. But yeah, so New Genesis has an M rating now, which will at least make it so that they don't have to make as many potential changes as they would have had to have made between the versions. But we'll probably still see some. And I'm sure that's not going to stop the modders from trying to take clothes off anyway. Alright, so with that, let's now move back into the series that we've been going through over the past couple of weeks here. That being the series that Polygon has been putting out, talking to the developers of the original Phantasy Star Online here. So, Zance, why don't you take the part of Polygon and I'll take the part of Kobayashi this time.
Alrighty. This is talking about the music that has defined the series for 20 years. Alright, so talking with this composer and sound designer, Hideki Kobayashi. So, Kobayashi's trippy electronic music is one of the most notable elements of Phantasy Star Online. And from the original PSO onward, Kobayashi has been responsible for the majority of the series' sound design and soundtrack work. Below, Kobayashi shares his thoughts about the substantial body of music he's created, the collaborations that have occurred in the series, PSO in concert, secret fan service, and the music he composes in his free time. Can you please explain your role on the PSO team? I know you were responsible for the theme songs, but were you responsible for all the sound in the game?
There was a sound director who decided the overall mood of the game. Originally, I worked under him to create various sounds and pieces of music. There was another creator on the team who I worked with to create the background music and sound effects. I came up with the sounds that I felt fit well in the sci-fi environment that PSO was going to be set in.
Were you a member of the Wavemaster team, an audio group at Sega, at the time?
It's a little complicated. At first, I was at Sega Enterprises. In the early 2000s, I switched over to Wavemaster, and that's where all the sound creators were. Wavemaster still exists today, but at one point all the creators moved back to Sega, and now we all work at Sega Games.
How long would you say you were at Wavemaster?
I'd need to look it up. I was there for a few years.
You were a part of Wavemaster during the development of PSO?
For the first PSO title, I was working under Sega Enterprises.
Was Wavemaster always a publishing label too?
Initially, they were a label and also did sound production. I worked for Wavemaster during the development of Phantasy Star Online Episode 3, Card Revolution.
Wavemaster published their own game at one point, right?
Yes, they did. It was called Romania number 203.
And I've never heard of that.
I think
what
it's
is that game?
I think it's like a life simulator where you're like this entity that helps guide a person through their day or something like that.
Yeah, and oh boy, this cover art. I sent it to you on Discord.
Let me see here.
If you would like to show it onto the stream here.
Oh yeah, that's the heyday of CG right there. That looks like something out of like Reboot or Beast Wars.
Oh, definitely Reboot. It's a little more rounded compared to the characters of Reboot. But yeah, it's very old CG with a weird Romania in an L shape look. And what's with the birds in the background there and the airplane? What?
I don't know.
I don't understand this cover. But yeah, it's just it's pretty much a life sim.
Yep.
It's just that cover is, it's really something.
That it is.
Anyway, continuing on with the interview here. How did you get assigned to the PSO project and become the soundtrack composer?
The reason why I was chosen probably had to do with the timing of the project, and the sound director at the time must have thought I would be a good fit. In addition to that, though, there was also the fact that I personally really liked the original Phantasy Star. I learned how to play the Yamaha Electone, an electric organ, in middle school, and created my own arrangements of the music of Phantasy Star. That's how much I liked the game, and it's one reason why I got into Sega in the first place. One day, my boss came around to my desk asking if I knew anything about Phantasy Star. I'm like, of course! To which my boss responded, "We're making a game in the Phantasy Star universe. Would you be interested in giving it a shot?" And I told him yes on the spot. So that was how I got the position. I was still a rookie, only about 2 years since joining Sega, so the team probably didn't know anything about me. I can only guess that their response to having me was probably like, well, let's give this guy a shot. That was the first time I made a demo tape for a theme song, and the music for the first few stages. Fortunately, those pieces I wrote matched well with what the development team had created, and they approved my work. That's, I think, when the development team accepted me, and I was able to be involved with the full project.
Phantasy Star Online is coming up on its 20th anniversary. This was one of your early projects. Looking back, how do you reflect on the development of the game at this point?
I joined the Phantasy Star Online franchise in the year 2000 with PSO, and have been involved with almost every version of the game since for 20 years. It's become my life's work, really. At the same time, 20 years has gone by in a blink of an eye, from my point of view. Right now, at the time of this interview in 2019, we're working on Phantasy Star Online 2. We've been working on this title for over 5 years. It really feels like the years flew past.
Were you involved with Phantasy Star Nova on PlayStation Vita?
I wasn't involved with Nova directly, no.
Was it because it was developed by Tri-Ace?
Yes.
Oh, that's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Tri-Ace pretty much handled that whole game. I mean, they went to Sega for looking at the concepts, but if you wanted a PSO2 that was designed for the single-player experience, that's the one to play.
Yeah, no wonder it feels so different to PSO2. Anyway, continuing on. What are your favorite musicians or influences?
That's difficult. In regards to BGM, when I was in college, I was in a jazz band. It was a big band jazz. I was heavily influenced by that style. After that, I went to a music school for 2 years. It was the late 1990s, and I was exposed to fusion music. Brecker Brothers, but Chick Corea, also French composer Michael Legrand, who passed away recently.
Actually, jazz being a thing in Japan, that's actually pretty interesting. Since that is a American genre.
I agree. I mean, you think back to around that time, what they usually had at that time was, at least popular over in Japan, I think was city pop back in the day.
I guess that was more so when American influence was starting to get into Japan during the late 1900s.
True.
Anyway, continuing on. That's interesting, because PSO has a very synthesized feel, and that felt like a deliberate choice for the sci-fi element. Some of the music is kind of trippy, like an acid trip, because the sounds were modulated a lot. What were your goals when making the music?
Yeah, I started with what kind of music would fit the PSO world. I thought that ambient music would work. I really wanted to use ambient music, especially in the scenes that weren't battle scenes. For the battle scenes, I added more rhythm and beats with more melodic songs. The way the music changes is a little unique in PSO. The music is seamless between the battles and non-battle scenes. Maybe that transition comes off as sounding a little trippy.
That's actually one of my favorite things about PSO is the switch over to more intense music and then more calming music after the conflict is resolved.
I completely agree with you there, and each version has been, well, okay, not Phantasy Star Universe. Unfortunately, that they kind of took a step back in that respect. But Phantasy Star Online and Phantasy Star Online 2. With Phantasy Star Online, they were using ADX technology at the time. for the music. So basically, they were streaming the music right off the disc into the memory of the Dreamcast or whatever console was in use at the time. And they would basically keep two streams going. Not two streams. What it is the game would look for when one of those battle scenes came up, and then it would find in the music where the next transition point was possible, and it would then play the transition track that then leads into either the battle or the calm theme. And then, as for PSO2, it's very similar to that. It's just a lot quicker than it used to be in terms of the transition. And that's because they've basically broken the segments, or they've broken the song up into these little 3 to 6 second segments, which all goes into the sympathy system, which I'm not sure if he talks about here or not. But sympathy is basically the name of the system that controls the music in the game.
Anyway, continuing on here. If you were to reflect on your body of work from PSO to Blue Burst and Phantasy Star Universe and PSO2, what would you say are the common elements across your work?
I think the element that unites the PSO games is that they're sci-fi. I wanted to really embrace that and reflect the sci-fi element in the game. Other than that, there really isn't a theme that unites the music in the game. I wanted to maintain the structure of music that I originally composed for PSO, which I think has become the color of essence of PSO music. Other than that, it's music that I like and fits my style.
Well, there is a song that unites the games, except for Universe, I think. Whole New World.
That's true, yeah.
Anyway, can you talk about what your favorite equipment is?
I like to play trombone, and that's what I used in the big band group back in the day. My favorite hardware synthesizer is the Roland JV2080. It was a famous synthesizer at the time, and all the Phantasy Star Online songs were created on the Roland JV2080. Nowadays, all the synthesizers are on the computer in the form of software, so we stopped using hardware for music composition. But the PSO sound was possible because of that Roland hardware.
So none of the PSO music was composed on the trombone?
Nope. And you just sent me this, which this is the equipment that they're talking about here.
Yeah, that's the Roland JV2080. It's been discontinued. No shit.
Yeah, you're gonna find that with a lot of old electronic synthesizers. It's really hard to come by them.
Mm-hmm. But more modern synthesizers are very easy to come by, and not as expensive as they once were.
Yeah, it's to the point where even if companies wanted to recreate them, they can't because the same parts don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm. So it's very hard to create that old synthesizer feel.
Yep.
Unless you have that equipment, which good luck getting that equipment.
Yeah, you need to be a musician like Deadmau5 or something like that to because I know for a fact he has like all these synthesizers on his wall, all these little patch panels that he can plug into. That was an interview that he did with actually Linus Tech Tips several years ago that I learned about that.
Yeah, he collects a lot of synthesizers. Anyway, continuing on. You also used an orchestra. In the credits, there's the orchestra producer and arranger who rearranged your original music. Can you describe how they were involved?
I asked someone else to work on the orchestra pieces. Originally, I composed the theme song and orchestra songs, and then had someone else arrange them for the orchestra. But the songs I composed were also used in the first level, so there's a little bit of both, my compositions and orchestral arrangements.
Can you tell us why you decided to have an orchestral arrangements in the game?
Honestly, I can't remember. I think it was the sound director who wanted the opening music to be an orchestral piece.
Which, I'm glad they did that, because A Whole New World with the orchestra, it just sounds really good.
Yep, I agree, and I believe in one of the CDs that was eventually put out, you can hear that original version before it was turned into an orchestral piece.
Really?
Yeah, it was like the 1999 trailer version of the song or something like that for Whole New World, I think.
I think I found it. Phantasy Star Online original trailer beta Dreamcast. It's on YouTube.
That sounds right. It was an extended song that was on. I think it was a 10-year collection of the music thus far for the Phantasy Star Online series, and that included Phantasy Star Universe in there as well. That you could find that track on.
Interesting. Anyway, continuing on. Have you collaborated with lyricists and vocal artists frequently?
I haven't written too many songs with lyrics. Traditionally speaking, the opening theme songs have had lyrics, but not so much within the game. That has changed with PSO2, which has a few songs within the game that have lyrics.
I.e. Kuna.
Kuna, plus the stuff you're hearing on Earth right now, in Tokyo and Las Vegas, and there's going to be some other stuff coming fairly soon as well that's going to have lyrics, which...
the Battleship Yamato fight has the song Borderless. That has lyrics.
Episode 5 has a bunch of lyrics in there. Episode 6, it's... Yeah, they really changed how they were handling things after Episode 3, that's for certain.
How do you collaborate with the lyricist and vocalist when you work with them?
I usually meet with the lyricist and provide direction and information about about what I have in mind. I only meet with the vocalist at the recording sessions. I've usually provided them with the demo tapes in advance and then give them direction as we record.
Is the vocalist also the lyricist?
No, they're different people.
Yeah, of course they're different people. What kind of question is that? We've spoken with other members of the team about the technical challenges of PSO. Can you talk about some of the challenges of writing music for the Dreamcast, if any, for this game?
Where should I start? I mentioned earlier that the PSO sounds were a little different. To elaborate on that, the music data exists as one stream with a bunch of short pieces that are connected together. So here's the thing, I think he's actually talking about PSO2 here and not the original PSO. Let's see, each melody is constructed in 4 measures. Those 4 measure pieces are connected together in-game according to the gameplay. So if an enemy appears on screen, the music shifts to play the pieces associated with that enemy, or when you're in combat. We are able to...
The original PSO here.
Say again?
I think he is just talking about the original PSO here.
Okay. We were able to implement all that using the CSK Research Institute sound libraries. You might have seen the ADX logo in the game. That's all related to the sound. What the programmer had to do was insert the specific numbers, like 3.76 seconds, for example, and every 3.76 seconds, a new melody would play. All that programming to match the gameplay had to be done from scratch, and that was a very difficult process. What ended up being a failure for the project was that there wasn't enough memory available on the Dreamcast for the number of sound effects being played at the same time. Isn't that funny that we're also running into the same issue right now with PSO2? If you've ever been in one of those Cradle of Darkness missions where you've got all these false spawn around in the second area and you're everybody's just attacking all at the same time, you're gonna hear these loud pops in the sound effects because it's running out of sound channels there.
Yeah, it was really bad in the Xbox closed beta, if you remember that.
Yep.
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah. We chose direct streaming to play back the sound of the game, but we didn't realize just how much data there was going to be at the end. We decided that the game was going to have a continuous stream of music, but what ended up happening was that it used so much of the Dreamcast hardware resources that we encountered a lot of crashes related to that. The phenomenon even gained a reputation as the Crasher because of how often this would crash the game. That was definitely a failure in our approach to that. For the GameCube version that came along later, we changed the system so the game would run within the memory allocation of that hardware, and the music would be read from the hardware.
Does that mean the system was constantly reading off the Dreamcast GD-ROM?
Yes, so when streaming the music from the disc, there were some sound effects that didn't fit in the memory, so we had to also stream those effects from the disc. There were parts of the game that used an influx of those particular sound effects and caused the game to crash.
Jeez. Oh, the limitations of hardware, isn't that fun?
Yep.
The GameCube had more onboard RAM, so were you able to load most of the sound effects directly onto the memory?
Yes, the GameCube sound memory was bigger. I think we were able to load all the sounds into the GameCube memory.
So when making the version for Xbox, which came with a hard drive, was that a huge resource for storing the sound effects and the soundtrack?
I think all the sounds fit into memory for the Xbox as well, but I don't think the sounds were installed onto the hard drive.
Nobody used that hard drive. Can you remember the first track you composed as a test for PSO?
It was the boss track that plays in the first level with the dragon, and the title screen background music.
Oh, nice. That's actually pretty cool that those were the first things designed.
Yep. And I believe that's because the dragon existed before it became Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah, that is true. No wonder it sounds so different compared to everything else in the game.
Yep.
Which one is the song that got the orchestral treatment?
The theme song, and there were a few tracks where some sections of the song used non-synthesizer instruments, particularly the string sections. The Vol-Op boss fight was partially orchestrated. There were various other songs that also had strings layered throughout the tracks, and the last boss, Dark Falls, was another track that had strings layered into the track.
Oh, with the Vol-Op fight, I know exactly where it's talking about adding the orchestral part. It's during the second phase after you destroyed all the monitors or stuff.
Yep, I think that is correct.
Yeah, I'm listening to it in my head, and yeah, that's the part where the orchestral was added in. So those are real string instruments.
Yes, that's correct.
When you were composing the soundtrack for PSO, were you aware of or trying to avoid being influenced by other RPGs or action RPGs?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, because that's actually interesting, because previous interview they were talking about the Diablo influence when it came to this game.
Yeah, definitely. That's I don't remember there being too much. I mean, it definitely didn't transition as far as I'm aware of. That's something that was unique to Phantasy Star when that idea first came out. At least from what I can recall.
Mm-hmm. In hindsight, are there any game composers that you admire?
Taito's sound team. I love Zuntata. I actually wanted to work there and applied for a job position at Taito, but didn't get the job. But I got accepted to Sega, so, no regrets. I wanted to work for Sega as well. So, that's interesting because potentially had Taito accepted him, he might be working for Square Enix now.
Yeah. Which is pretty interesting because it also talks about Nobuo Uematsu next. Speaking of which, Nobuo Uematsu does live performances of his compositions. Have you done live concerts with the PSO soundtrack?
We've had 3 PSO concerts, but they were all concerts after the release of PSO2, so it was mostly music from PSO2. I think the first or second performance had a medley of the PSO songs. I didn't perform at the concerts myself, though.
Are these concerts that were organized by Sega?
Yes, there have also been small gaming events where I was asked to perform the theme song for PSO. For these events, I hired a vocalist to do the vocals, and I performed on the keyboard.
That's really fun to hear. For these official events.
These were events organized by Sega. Every once in a while, Sega organized small events for consumers where they could come and compete on stage. The winner won prizes, etc. We decided to do a mini live concert at one of these events.
With the 20th anniversary coming up, maybe it's time for a big celebration. How about at the Budokan, maybe Tokyo Dome?
That would be awesome.
Honestly, that would be cool. Just having a live orchestra play all the tracks in PSO and then release that onto on a CD globally. Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Yep. Yeah, especially in times like this where it's really hard to get a group of people together for a performance. It would have to be sort of like a direct to Blu-ray or something like that right now.
I would love that though. Just give me that. Of all the soundtracks, which one is your favorite?
It's a hard question. I like all of them. I especially like the first two. The first album was recorded on a CD extra. It was a CD that could store data, but once you stored data on it, the remaining storage capacity couldn't hold the rest of the tracks. CDs fit about 74 minutes of music, but it could only store about 45 minutes of music. Not enough to fit all of PSO's tracks. That's why I wanted to release the second CD. But if I recall correctly, it took a while before we were able to release the second CD. I was pleased when we were finally able to release it with the remaining tracks.
What was on the CD extra?
It had additional content, like screenshots that took up space on the CD and prevented us from including all the music from the game. So for the second release, I wanted to make sure all the music was included, so we released a 2-disc album.
Working at Sega has allowed you to see multiple albums worth of music released on CD. How do you feel about that?
I'm quite happy that my music has been released on CD. Sega probably wasn't sure how many would sell, so we tried including screenshots and extra material to make the product more appealing. They've released a soundtrack CD for every game released, and I've strived to write music that would make people want to buy the soundtrack, so I'm happy that I've been able to accomplish that.
If you were recording your own music, a solo album outside of gaming, what kind of music would you release?
I have released my own original music in the past, not through a publisher, but as an amateur artist. I used to burn my own CDs and sell them at small events. Nowadays, I don't have the time to write my own music.
That's actually very common with a lot of amateur musicians. They'll burn their own CDs, or back in the day before the CDs, they had their own mixtapes.
Yep, definitely.
If any of you youngsters know what a mixtape is, I don't even. Yep. And I'm a youngster, and I didn't know what a mixtape was until I looked it up. Hey.
Yep. And then we have a nice screenshot here of him holding all his soundtracks, it looks like.
Yep, his babies. But yeah, that's actually very common for amateur musicians. Like at gaming conventions, there were some that showing off their music, and they would be like, hey, you can buy one of my albums here and listen to it if you want.
Yep.
It's very common to see that at many different conventions of amateur artists trying to get their name out there. And continuing on, what type of music was it?
Some of the songs were similar to the music of PSO, using the synthesizer. I also wrote some string quartet pieces too. They were made on a synthesizer, but it was recorded with a string quartet.
Did you also do the composition for Phantasy Star Online Episode 3 Card Revolution?
I did some, but not a lot. Specifically the title screen and the last boss.
Yeah, I could definitely tell with the Idola theme that it was his composition.
Yeah, no question whatsoever that it was him.
Yeah, it's very obvious because it fits with all the other Idola themed bosses in specifically episode 1, 2, and 4.
Yep.
Do you remember trying to maintain a certain style?
At the time, I was already working on Phantasy Star Universe, and I wasn't in charge of the music for PSO3. But partway through the project, I think he meant PSO Episode 3.
Okay.
But partway through the project, they asked for me to come on board and write some music for PSO3. So I took the music I was writing for Phantasy Star Universe and used it for PSO3. So the music for the title screen was originally something that I was writing for PSU.
Why didn't you use it in PSU?
When it came time to go back to work on PSU, the universe was very different from the other Phantasy Star games, as you know. So my original ideas for PSU didn't really work for that game. So I decided that I needed to come up with a new style for PSU.
The Phantasy Star Portable games were basically ports of PSU, but the final game, Phantasy Star Portable 2 Infinity, had a lot of new original content. Were you involved with writing the music for that as well?
Yes, for Infinity, I basically wrote all the new songs that were needed for the game. I think it was one stage, one boss, and one vocal song as well.
Yeah, that vocal song is the opening song. It's
Yep.
like I forget what the name of it is called.
Infinity?
Yeah, it's probably just called Infinity. Any interesting stories for the readers?
I don't know if this is interesting for the readers, but I joined the project mid-development and was a hardcore fan. I'd play at my desk and had 2 Dreamcasts just so I could play PSO.
Have there been any fan service types of things that you incorporated into your music?
In PSO2, the music is randomly generated, and I included jingles from the original Phantasy Star, so players would randomly hear jingles from the original game while playing. In Blue Burst, there were new rappy characters, and I was asked to give them new voices, so I recorded the voices of people in the office, and one of the women whose voices that I recorded is actually now my wife.
Nice.
Yep.
I guess that one of those new rappy characters. I guess if he's talking about his wife, then that was the Love Rappy.
That would make
Right.
sense, yeah.
Because that's the only rappy I know of that has like a more female voice to it.
Yeah. And yeah, I think you're right there, Rooks. Ignite Infinity.
Okay,
And-
Infinity. All right.
And then also Go Infinity, which is used for the title screen menu, I believe.
When is that English patch going to come out?
I don't know. There's just so much stuff lined up for the near future. We got that, we got Clementine, we got just everything coming out.
Yep, because Clementine, it is now reaching end of August, so it's just a matter of time until Marmalade announces when it's going to be open.
Yep.
And for those of you who don't know, Marmalade is the main developer for the Clementine server. It's trying to just make it a server and have everything that was in the original PSU playable. Not really adding anything new, just the original game again.
Yep.
But yeah, that is the interview with the music composer.
Yep. Are you good to continue on with the other one we need to cover, or do you want to hold off?
We've gone on long enough here.
All right. Then we will pick up with the next one with some more of the developers next time here. Then. All right.
Because not only do we have that one, but then we'll also have more that comes out. Because this last one that they released was like part 5 or something.
I think so, yeah. Or maybe part 4. Next week should be a slower news week, so hopefully we'll be able to knock both of them out next week.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's all that I have on my end then.
And that pretty much does it for me as well. So that brings us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Zance and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
Johnny.